Okay, so yesterday we covered carving the linoleum. This is what I've got. This is the finished product. It's very clean. Now I want to point out a couple of things. Don't worry about the schmutz that's in here. There's nothing that's going to come loose with my ink. It's nice and deep enough to where the lines will show on the fabric when we're done. Personally, again, I like to take it down to the wood. This is so tiny, it's just not going to let me, so I'm not going to stress the small stuff, okay? Nice clean design, we're ready to go. So what I want to do is take a moment and show you the different options that you have available to you whenever you get ready to do block printing. Now you can go to your local hobby store, or you can even order these online to pick up these little resin style blocks that make it easy for you to print some designs. And I've done just that with these. If you'll take a look here, this is a lovely purple that I used the recommended pigment for these types of blocks. I got it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it from Dharma Trading, I'm sure, dharmatrading.com. And this would be very helpful when you're wanting to get a nice clean design. Now a little something to remember, guys, these little tiny little holes and guys in here will gunk up. They will get paint in there. Keep a small straight pen to kind of flick it out. Now take a look at this. I marked a B and a T. This is the top of my design. This is the bottom of my design. So that when I am printing this in a row or in a series, then I will know exactly what direction I'm going and everything will remain the same. Continuity is a nice thing. Let's keep it that way. So here's an example of, again, a resin print. Now the product that I utilized for that, Versatex. Versatex is usually used for silk screening your t-shirts and so forth. So that's why this looks so faint, so light, so delicate. This is really great for if you're doing like light scarves or lightweight fabric, lightweight tissue. Okay, so that's that little guy right there. All right, and again, I did the same thing. I marked where the top was on this so I could find and keep it consistent. Now, this guy over here, I'm sure everyone has seen these guys, okay? I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see what it would look like if I were to block print with it. The product I used, Speedball. The Speedball ink on here cleans up really very easy. All of these clean up with soap and water and an old toothbrush to get the little bits and bobs out. Now this is kind of clunky gunky because I did not use the brayer, and we'll get to that in a minute, the brayer to apply the ink to the surface. I just sort of dabbed it on with one of these little sponges. Got a little gloppy. That's okay. This is a test piece. Now's the time to experiment. This particular item right here is what is recommended to apply the paint to your resin pieces. Okay? It all comes together in the same area. More than likely you will find it over in your craft store where you're able to block print t-shirts and purses and things like that. So this could be a lot of fun to just experiment with scrap fabric and make some little cool cup covers or whatever you want to do. Now, when it comes time to apply the Speedball ink that I normally use, which is one of these, it comes in a tube. Okay. Metallic silver, metallic gold. They have white, blue, yellow, red, orange, all kinds of colors. Now the difference on these that I want to kind of point out, these are oil based. Okay, this does not necessarily mean it's going to be difficult to clean. This is really easy to clean. You can clean it with, again, soap, water, and a toothbrush. It comes right off. So something else that I want to kind of point out is these products have a different drying time. Okay. Hope you can see that okay. Your non-metallics will generally dry in 2 to 3 days depending on humidity level, air conditioning, various factors. So here's a very important tip. Test first hang it in the area that you're going to hang your product to dry and see how long it takes to dry. Metallics. Your metallics are gummy and sticky. They take, well, in Arizona in the spring, it took approximately 3 weeks to dry. It comes out looking a little green. That's okay, that's part of the pigment. When it dries, it is this beautiful, lush, rich gold color. And it cleans up very easy. Look at there. See how easy it is to clean? So that's a fun little something right there. I love the look of the metallics. I hate the amount of time it takes to dry. So if you're working on a tight time schedule, that's going to be part of the factor, guys. Okay? So when I'm using this particular product, I want to use a flat surface. Okay? The flat, smooth surface that I'm using is just one of these inexpensive little mirrors that have the feet, has a feet on them. So that helps keep it up off the table. It's easy to pick up, put down, and you don't have to worry about breaking anything. Put a dollop of your ink on your surface. This is your brayer. It's a nice little rubber gizmo that will help you to apply your product. It's a soft rubber. It's not a hard rubber. It's nice and squishy without being too limp. You want to keep these guys clean. This guy right here seems to be a little bit dusty from when I was tidying up in my sewing room, so I'll clean that later. But this is for practice, so I'm not worried. So you want an even, smooth application on this. Okay? Multiple directions. La la la. Okay. See? Nice coverage, even coverage. More is not better. I want to make sure that that gets out there. More is not better. So we're going to do a test with the piece that I carved yesterday. When you're applying your ink, you want to make sure that you apply from multiple directions. Okay? So we're going to just get in there. Look at that. Ew. If it gets somewhere you don't want it, wipe it off. Okay. See, oh, that looks pretty. That's going to look really nice. I like that. Okay. Now there is such a thing as ink saturation. If you put too much ink on, it's going to glop up and ooze into the little nooks and crannies in here that you don't want it to do. Another something that normally I do is with a large block print, I will use a dead blow hammer just to kind of easy tap around the edges to make sure I've got nice even pressure all the way around. I don't have it with me, so let's see what happens when we just press it with our hands, okay? So, steady your block. Place it straight down on the area that you want to print. My nails are still green from dyeing the fabric. Now, you want to be careful when you're doing this not to rock your block. If you rock your block, it's going to make a smudge and there will be unhappiness. Okay? Now this is a really big block. I may have to get it cut down a little bit. So, let's see. I'm going to stick my coffee over here to hold the fabric down. Okay, ready? And peeling up and back, we get our design. I like that. Now I want to point a few things out. Okay. Yeah, that's just a little piece of schmutz from my roller. Okay, now you see the lighter areas right here? Don't sweat it. It's okay. This is normal. You're going to see that. You're going to see areas where it looks, oh, it didn't happen. Don't worry. That's why we're doing a test piece. Because when I apply the ink back onto my design and I print again, it's probably going to be a little bit darker. If it's not, don't worry. It's okay. It adds to that wonderful organic feel that you have on this. So this is a successful block print. in my mind. I am very happy with this, and I'm very excited with how this is going to turn out. So what I'm going to do before I actually start printing is on the back of this, I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to mark the absolute center on here where the little tulip is, and do the same thing down here, the absolute center, so that when I'm applying this particular stamp, every single time, it'll be in a beautiful straight row. It'll be fantastic. Now you can play with this too whenever we're getting, the next video will actually apply it to the garment. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is angle my block so that the leaves are actually going to be, so I'm going to have my, at a diagonal. So it's going to create this really cool pattern to where the leaves are going, bap, 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 bap. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. But before I put it on the actual garment, it's gonna happen on the test piece. Always test your stuff, guys. You've worked too hard getting your stuff to this point to go, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I've just destroyed 14, 15 hours worth of work. Okay?
Going.
Okay, so something I missed earlier was a couple of other tools. This that's right here on my table is vinyl, this flocked vinyl. It has just that little bit of cushion to allow the fabric to kind of flex a bit over the print, so you get a really nice clean edge. I tried to do this on a table without the protective, without the vinyl, and it was a sad mistake. Not going to happen anymore. Another thing to realize is your ink is going to leak through. It's going to come through on your vinyl, so it's always a good idea. Yeah, it's always a good idea to go ahead and put something there on this. Also, if you're pulling color out of one of these pots, get a little cake spatula sort of thing. This helps make it easier to scoop out what you need and to put it on your mirror so that you can spread that out. It's a whole lot easier. So I'm going to clean this stuff up and get staged for the actual printing of my garment, and we'll talk about that in a minute.